I'm glad you're here. My name is Mr. Bruce, and I'm one of the storytelling teachers with the Marsh Youth Theater. And I've been doing it for 5 years. I've been teaching storytelling to kids around San Francisco. And what's been thrilling to me is to go into a classroom and see all the work that kids have done, not only the great stories they've written, but teachers have posted information tips on how to write stories. And I'm so pleased that just storytelling is so very, very important, because it is vital. Storytelling, not only writing, but also getting up and telling stories makes a huge, huge difference. I've worked with a lot of leadership people in leadership positions in various kinds of organizations, and those who could write and those who could speak in front of a group, it made such a huge, huge difference. And it was so clear. These are important leaders. Some of them, it was still something they were working on. There's many different aspects, lots of different kinds of stories. I have some of these written down. By the way, this is going to be more like a conversation, so I'm really open to hearing your thoughts. If you want to say something, just raise your hand, and then one of Mr. Brian or one of the technical people will just turn on your microphone. So let's see. I know I was talking about something very, very important here. Anyway, there's many different important aspects of storytelling and different kinds of stories. That's what I'm saying. There's fables and fantasies and legends and myths and biographies. And there's no real rules, except there are certain aspects of storytelling that no matter what kind of story you tell, or what kind of poem, whatever it is, whatever you're writing, there's certain things that are really very helpful. And what I'm going to work on today is description. How you describe what's going on. And it shows through your eyes. It shows your world through your eyes. And what storytellers depend on when they're doing that is their five senses. Can you name any of the five senses? I'm looking right at, you're not quite, yeah, five senses. Do you know the five senses?
Tell.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly what is no?
Just answer the question.
Well, it looked like you had them. You're pointing to it on your face, which is the best way to remember the five senses, which you did: sight, seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching. Those are all really important. And again, it gives people a chance to.
This one.
Well, he's going to tell you how to listen.
It gives you a chance to see how people see the world. And we're going to talk about description. And also I want to focus in on one specific way of, or area that we can focus all these different five senses around. And I'm going to give you some clues as to what it is. I'm going to tell a knock-knock joke, a very, very good knock-knock joke, possibly the best knock-knock joke. And I need somebody to help me. I'm going to say knock-knock, and then you say, who's there? Can you be the person who says, who's there?
Who's there?
Okay, wait. I have to say knock-knock first. Knock-knock.
Who's there?
Broccoli.
Broccoli who?
Broccoli doesn't have a last name.
That's so funny.
Every person who tells jokes.
Funniest joke I ever seen.
I like that. And we're going to have a really good time here. I also have a riddle for you. Are you ready for the riddle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here goes. Many people think that I am a vegetable, but I'm actually a fruit. People like to use me to make spaghetti sauce and pizza. What am I?
Oh, we planted those yesterday.
Tomato.
Tomatoes are right. Did you know that it was actually a fruit?
Yeah.
Tomatoes are fruits?
Yeah.
People don't see it. You knew that already?
Yeah, my
Oh.
not.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, that's good. I mean, it looks like a vegetable. I would say it was, but if it has seeds, it means it's a fruit.
Okay, which person?
You have to listen to him.
I've got more. I've got some incredible sound effects. This is also giving you clues. I know that I've jumped all over the place here. Clues as to what we're going to talk about specifically. I gave you one clue. Here's another one. Listen carefully. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Can you guess what that might be?
Teapot.
Exactly right. You're doing really well here. All right, here's another one. This one's a little trickier. Wait, that was the same one. Sorry. Doesn't always cooperate with me. I'm not sure why. It just wants to do, okay, here we go. All right, this one's sort of funny to me. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it again. It keeps wanting to go to the kettle. What do you think that was?
I know what it is.
What?
It's one of the shaky instruments, you know? Get it? It's
No.
a maraca.
It was somebody biting into a potato chip.
That is funny.
How about this one? Guesses? It sounds like it could be a couple things, but it's actually, did you ever hear the sound of bacon frying on the stove? That's what it sounds like. Of course, it also sounds a little bit like rain, but it's bacon frying on the stove. So today we're actually not only talking about description, but I'm focusing all of it on food. Okay, something to do with food. Everything we talk about will have to do with food in some way or another. And I'm thinking of one room in particular in my house. I'm jumping around here a little bit. Can you see this in my hand? This is, bring this into my class. It's actually, it's a pillowcase. I call it a magic pillowcase because pillowcases are more attractive than bags, shopping bags. And in it, there's a whole bunch of stuff, as you can see. And each time I bring this into my class, it's from a different room. Do you have any idea which room it might be that I got this stuff from? The theme is kitchen. Oh, the theme is food. I just gave away what it was. It's all stuff for my kitchen. And here's a picture of my kitchen. That's what my kitchen looks like.
Look at that.
Actually, I fixed the floor. I know how to, on computers, add different colors and things. And this is much nicer than my floor. But anyway, I have in here a whole bunch of different things, okay? What might be something that you could find in my kitchen or in a kitchen that could be in a bag like this? What do you think?
A pan.
A pan could be a pan, and that's a great guess, but no, it's not a pan. Keep going though.
A pot.
A pot could be. You're making great guesses. It's just not exactly what I have in this bag. But keep going. Things that are a little smaller.
Do you have any food in there, Mr. Bruce?
I do. Good guess. I have some food. Not one, but two oranges. Can you see the oranges? Yeah. Two oranges. Okay, that's a start. And then something that you eat soup with. Can you guess what that might be?
A spoon.
Spoon is correct. something that you might, when you're making like cookies or something like that, and you're measuring stuff out, something that you might measure stuff out with?
Measuring.
Yeah, measuring cups. Five different measuring cups, or four. Then I have one of my favorite foods. I like to eat it with spaghetti sauce. Do you know what that might be?
The answer is meatballs?
This is spaghetti, or kind of spaghetti. It's sort of
Oh.
more or less like macaroni. And then when you're done with stuff, when you're done eating and there are like things left over, what do you do with them?
Put them in the sink?
It's true. But how do you don't want to throw, it's enough stuff that you wouldn't throw it out. You would hold on to it. You would keep it. But you'd put it in the refrigerator somewhere. But what would you have to do before you put it in the refrigerator? I'll show you. I put it in one of these. I have containers. It's hard to know where to go. I have containers of different sizes, so I put them in containers. So what I want to do is I want to go over, we'll just use those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's good. Okay, I'm gonna show you these one more time, and what I'd like you to do, the best you can, is describe these in 2 or 3 different ways. In other words, what color it is, how big it is, if you think it's heavy, things like that. How would you describe this? What color is it?
Is the answer blue?
Blue? Yeah, I would call it blue too. And what would you say the shape was?
Rectangle.
Yeah, rectangle. That's what I would say too. Okay, so blue, rectangle, macaroni, or spaghetti if you want to call it. Here was, remember what these were?
Measuring cup.
Yeah. Now, and what color would you say that is?
Gray?
Silver.
It's sort of metal, silvery. Is that what you were saying? Metal?
Yeah.
Yeah, metal. And how many of them are there?
4.
4 is exactly right. Yeah, 4. And anything else you want to say about these? All right, I'll keep going. This one, how many oranges?
2?
2. Yeah, that's right. And here's sort of a complicated or a little bit of a tricky question, because the color is exactly the same as the name of the fruit. But can you think of another way? There's 2 of them. It's an orange, 2 oranges. Is there something else you can think of to describe it in another way?
It's round.
Round. Yes, that's a good one. Round oranges. And then here's this one. This is a little hard because it's a plastic container. But how would you describe, what color would you say the top would be?
Blue.
That's what I would say. And what shape do you think this would be?
A rectangle?
Yeah. And I think this was the last one.
I'm very good at this.
You are. And then we'll get to the next step.
I'm so smart from Blue's Clues.
Oh, yeah? I like Blue's Clues.
Yeah,
I didn't know they still had Blue's Clues on TV.
yeah, we do.
Oh, good. So this is this last spoon. Yeah, exactly right. How would you describe the spoon? Like what color?
Is it like a little like a silver?
Yeah, silver. I would say it's exactly like a silver. And do you think this is heavy, or do you think it's light, or big, or small?
Big.
Big. Okay. So that's, I think, all of them. Now here's what I'm going to do. This is the magical part, and I'll talk about this a little bit later because we're going to work on this next week. But right now I'm going to have all of and a few extra ones, all the things we just talked about go back into the pillowcase. Here we go.
What just happened?
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah, what is happening?
It's going.
That's called stop motion video. And I'm going to, next week, I'm going to show kids how they can do it themselves. It's actually not that complicated. Have you ever seen stop motion video before? Anything like that? Probably might not know the name, but it's not that complicated. It just takes some time to put together. And in fact, that lasted about 7 seconds. It took about an hour and a half to put all of that together. Okay, so here's the memory part. In here, I have all the stuff we talked about. Tell me which of the things that are in here that you remember and describe them as best you can.
A spoon?
Spoon?
Orange.
How many oranges?
2.
2. And anything, well, how else would you describe the oranges?
Round.
Round is exactly, yeah, that's what I would say too. Anything else you could remember?
Containers.
Measuring cups.
Measuring cups, yeah. How many measuring cups? Do you remember?
4.
4, yep. And what color were the measuring cups?
Silver.
Silver, yeah. A lot of silvery stuff. Measuring cups. We're making chocolate chip cookies. And let's see, I think there was one more thing, wasn't there?
Yeah. There was pasta. That's what it says on the box.
Could you read that? You can see it said.
Yeah, it's real pasta.
Yeah, it's hard to know which way to. Pasta is exactly right. Nice job. Nice job. I want to show you something funny. This is something else we're going to be working on as long as we're here. And before I tell you my story that I'm working on, do you see that picture of me where I'm talking and talking, and there's 2 lights and then a brick background? Do you see that one?
Yeah.
Okay, watch this. I'm going to change where I am. Do you see that change?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about now? Here it is now. This all comes about, and I wish I could explain it to you really well, although somebody's explained it to me again and again. This is all called a green screen, and that's what you're looking at now. All it is simply is a piece of green material. It's behind me, and again, the next week or 2, we're going to discuss this too. But all you have to do is put a green screen behind you, to keep it sort of simple, and then you put a picture there, and you can be anywhere you want. It can also be on the ground. You could or put green paper down. We'll talk more about that. Okay, so here's my story. This is a story I just started working on. It's a true story. And I used to work with these 2, well, I didn't work with them. They were my friends' kids. And I've known them since they were born. And the story takes place when one of them was 4 and the other one was 6. Now they're in college. But one of them was 4, the other one was 6. And it was an afternoon right about now. And what we did was we have activities, and I was a little tired. I get tired in late afternoon. But I wanted to do an activity. Their parents were going to come home, and they were going to bring home dinner. And we thought we'd make something fun too. So do you know this book, this cookbook, Winnie the Pooh cookbook? You ever seen this one? Very popular. Winnie the Pooh. And it only has like 12 recipes. And I always let the kids pick the recipes. And every page is thick cardboard. And then it has plastic on it on both sides. Why do you think it has plastic on it? Guesses?
Oh. So it doesn't get messed up.
Exactly. Exactly. People like me who sometimes spill things. This way, if I spilled something, I could just wipe it up. And it had all the. Do you know the story about Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So Winnie the Pooh, and it even shows. Do you help out with cooking of any way, preparation with any of the adults in here? Do you help out when it's dinner time or lunchtime?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
You do like what kind of stuff do you do?
She makes bacon. She cooks a lot. I cook sometimes.
Yeah, it's so important to learn how to cook. I was, for whatever reason, I didn't learn how to cook very well or at all until I became an adult, and I sort of wished I had done it as a child. And I'm glad you're working on it now. But the one that we found that we really, really loved the recipe, and it was perfect for dinner because they're going to bring home Chinese food, and we needed something to have for dessert. So we made chocolate chip cookies, and we had all the ingredients. There's only 8 ingredients. So we put all the ingredients into this bowl, and we mixed everything up in the bowl, lots of things. And before we could get finished, the doorbell rang, and the kids ran to the door, so I had to run to the door with them. And it was a mail carrier and gave them a package. And they were very excited about the package. And we went back into the kitchen, put the package down, and then we all got a chance to mush up that's not the real word, but we all got a chance to take some of the dough out and make it into a ball. And then we put it onto a cookie sheet. And it looked just like that. This is an unusual cookie sheet, but it's the cookie sheet, and it's a very good one. And so we put little ones so there'd be. These already look tasty. One of the things that are in, of course, chocolate chip cookies are chocolate chips. That's my favorite part. I usually like to put in a little too many chocolate chips, but fortunately, sometimes I have some self-control and don't put in too many. Chocolate chips are sort of like chocolate raindrops from the sky. But I love chocolate chip cookies. And then the next thing we do, we preheat the oven. Chocolate chip cookies don't take long to make. 13 minutes, in fact. And so we put the cookies in to the stove, to the oven, and closed it up. The parents came home, and we set out the Chinese food and plates and bowls and things like that. And then we, after we set things up, we went, before we even ate, because it's only 13 minutes, it's very, very quick. Before we even ate, I opened up the oven again, took out the cookies, and something was wrong. Because instead of melting down like cookies do, if you've done it right, they didn't melt down. They just looked sort of burnt, but they were still in a ball. And the 4 of us could not figure. Chocolate chip cookies aren't really that hard to make, so we had to figure out what it was that we had made a mistake. Something was wrong. Do you have any guesses what we might have done wrong? It was a ball. We didn't know either. And the first thing we did was.
Maybe you didn't cook them so long.
That's a possibility. That's what I thought at first too, that we didn't cook it long enough, but it was cooked 13 minutes. So what I did was I went back to the checklist to made sure we had everything. And we certainly had flour, that was for sure. I know I put the flour, the baking soda I put in, salt. I had one of the kids put the salt in. And one of the kids cracked the eggs because I'm not really very good at that. Vanilla, I put extra vanilla in and extra chocolate chips, and I realized what was missing.
And sugar.
No sugar. I forgot to put sugar in. And if you don't put sugar in, what happens is it's actually a science lesson as much as anything else. the cookies don't melt down. They just stay this big ball, and we tried to even eat those. It just is a ball of dough that it's not tasty and not sweet at all, even a little bit. So what started as a cooking lesson, and we were hoping our dessert, became a science lesson. We found out what happens if you forget to put sugar in your cookies. It just won't melt down. And the book was that these kids and their parents had sent away and came that day. The book that distracted us when we got it delivered, it was How to Be a Better Cook. It was a book they got for me. And I guess they figured out what was going to happen. This happened 12 years ago. We still talk about it. It's still funny to us. And that's pretty much it for today. Oh, here's what I'd like. I'd like you for next week, if you'd like, unless you have something right now, to bring in either a written story and you can send it to us, or one that you can tell about cooking. We have couple of minutes actually. Does anybody have a story they have about cooking or going to a restaurant or food? Any kind of story at all? We have some time. You have what?
Susie, pie.
I make smiley faces in our pie.
You make pie?
Smiley faces on the bottom of the pie.
Ah. Do you two have, thank you. Do you two have a story about something that happened while cooking or restaurant or food or making food or buying food?
Yeah. On my mom's birthday, we made breakfast in bed, but my dad doesn't really know how to cook either. So
Hey.
I made eggs and hash browns.
Wow.
Rather made a casserole.
So you, instead of your dad doing it, you help with the cooking part?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, I'm glad you're doing that. And you brought, was it a surprise for your mom?
No, she already knew we were making something, but she didn't actually know what it was.
Oh, I see. So this was in the morning, breakfast in bed kind of a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was nice. And your dad just supervised and you did the cooking?
Well, he was upstairs actually.
So
Oh, really?
you supervised yourself.
Yeah, we
I
supervised ourselves.
supervised her. I didn't need supervising.
Are you good at cracking eggs, opening up the eggs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still working on that one. For some reason, either it just mushes together or there's a piece of a shell in the egg. I'm working on that though. Really working hard on that one. Did anything happen once the something went? Did this all shut off?
No.
We're still here.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, good. It looks like the other. If you can see me, I can see you. But it looks like something.
After it.
Can you still see me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good. It looks like something got turned off, but I'm not clear what. I can't see any of the other people.
I think that was your shared screen, Mr. Bruce. I think it's just all you now.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Did I click something by mistake?
Yeah, it looks like our shared screen got turned off. If you would just want to share your screen one more time, that should help us.
Okay.
Not more to show.
Now I have to figure out how to do that. Okay. This is the first time I'm ever doing this, so I'm learning a lot quickly. Okay, we're back in business. Yeah, it's fun to make people breakfast in bed. One of the fun things, too, is what makes a story really even more, a word compelling or more interesting is when something goes wrong or something unexpected happens. Like if you had tried to open the egg and like a little chick came out, that would have been a cool story. I don't think that happens. Or if do you go to family trips? Do you go places on family trips?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like where do you like to go to?
Well, we mostly go to our grandma's house.
Ah,
Yeah, in Tennessee.
in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So you fly there?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. And then when you get to Tennessee, that's right, your mom is from Tennessee. And what do you do once you get to Tennessee?
Well,
When?
Let him tell
we
first.
stay at her house, and then like get our bags ready. And then we don't always do this, but sometimes our neighbor lets us stay on her phone, or
Go
like,
swimming. Go swimming in the pool.
oh yeah, we go swimming in her pool sometimes. Yeah, and sometimes we play a game or something.
Okay. All right. Well, what I would like, if you're interested in doing it, these are terrific stories that all of you have told, is a something to do with food. And if you can have a story to do with food where something goes on, something unexpected goes on, it can be also something that it doesn't have to be negative. It can be something unexpected and turns out great, or often it could be something unexpected and it just doesn't work the way you'd hoped it would. Often makes a great story. And either write it down, and you can either bring it in next week or send it to the Marsh Youth Theater or MY. This is the email and this is the Instagram. I have a feeling your mom and dad, is your dad there too?
No, he's upstairs.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so bring it in next week, or you can even tell it next week. That would be great too. And next week too, both of you, I don't know if you saw this. Did you see the part where I did the stop motion video?
Yeah.
Yeah, but my mom did it.
Oh, you did? Oh, your mom did? Well, this is for her. This is the fast version. I showed you that Mr. Wayne asked me to slow it down and he was right. But here's a super fast version of it.
Ooh. Wow.
And what does that sound like when you're watching that happen?
It's like I don't know, I can't explain it really.
I'll play it once more.
Yeah.
It's not what you would expect. Anybody have a guess?
It kind of sounds like somebody putting stuff away.
Yeah, could sound like that. It's actually horses galloping, because I thought that would be a funny idea. So anyway, thank you all so much for being part of this. This was my first one too, and I had a good time, and I learned a whole bunch, and I hope to see you the next 3 Thursdays. We're going to do all kinds of fun things having to do with video and stop motion video and green screens and things like that. So I hope to see you back again, okay?
All right.
Okay.
All right, see you later.
Thank you. Thank you.